Welcome to our lovely future humans, and to those who are new. We're going to continue with a bit of what we were talking about in our previous episode, but we also have some lovely channeled guidance, food for thought, messages, future humans, galactic beings, ascended masters. I do it Maria's way, as those who have been tuning in know, so don't think I'll go anywhere. I'm going to be right here with them. But they do have some food for thought that they have decided that it's time to share. Don't worry, it's all good news, by the way. Be yourself, brain, mind, body, and flow. And that's where, when you're in a flow state, like my body, when I get to download and channel, I get even more in a flow state. And it's always fun. And what I notice is I perceive their energetic imprint. And so the voice and the words that come out is really fun, but I'm still getting used to it. And so it's a little bit like, okay, I know you want me to share your message, but give me a minute. I'm still familiarizing my community with me, and they're used to just Maria being there. And said, now you want to come join us, and we're going to have a good time. Okay, so science and spirituality answer, what is the purpose of our life? You will have either tuned into those other episodes. If you didn't, you can. The authentic self is the purpose. Your body in a flow state is your body being connected, and that's why science and spirituality together unlock the answer to what is the purpose of your life. It's to be yourself. And explained in short is all your child parts are asleep, and you know you, and I know me, and we're in good company. Okay, so we do understand, as I was mentioning, that weak ones, we will continue to pick on them. They're not weak, they're mediocre. And they're leading with a very bad example for the future generation. So we're basically, I know I am from the future. Again, you can call me woo pseudoscience, that's fine with me. But the spiritual ones who honor God and Jesus and Akash and Holy Spirit, and it's not with I like meat, I don't like meat, I like alcohol, I don't like, no, it's not that. This is the part of why science is number one, repeatable, replicable, and number one thing, being yourself, body connected, and integrated brain. From that, we have a healthy body that knows what it means to be strong. So our luminous warriors are luminous and warriors because they know who's the weak ones of the pack and who's the strong ones of our pack. So I want you to understand that Jesus taught me to forgive, and God taught me to be humble. And God continues to teach me to be humble, and so do the luminous future warriors. But Peter Levine is who I'm thinking about. He's a great of our future, like all the other ones. Okay, so angels walk amongst us. We will call to each other. We will pray, some will not. No brother and sister of ours, no 8 billion and growing, are devils, demons, demonic spirits. All those words, you can put them in ancient history for the 5D collective and beyond. Reptilian, all of them, basically words that dress up our brothers and sisters who need a good therapist because they have a cracked foundation and more. So I'm just going to try and break it down. Those who don't know how to be their self, that's because they're not their authentic self. Brain, mind, body is not theirs. If they're not in flow, they're weak ones, and we see them, as I see them still out in the street, doing what they have been doing, but saying that they are healthy, and like the smart therapists have pointed, they will continue to do so. So shame continues to bind itself in. Okay, so there's no need for monsters. There's plenty of good scientists ready and hands-on helping the ones who want to be their true self and therefore become that which is luminous. We follow, forgive. Blessed are those who believe without seeing. So this whole thing about when also I see downloaders and channelers telling you about water and about nutrition and about, okay, so I'm just going to give you science. When it's true science, they are continuing to do research. They have peer reviews. The people don't know what discerning means according to what true discernment is because they're not equanimous. So what I like and don't like doesn't matter, meaning I know I believe in God. I know I channel and download. I can be okay with someone saying you're woo-woo, pseudoscience, and no, it's all virtual reality because I have an integrated brain and because I'm not picky with words. So true leaders don't get divisive and don't pick on each other based on words. When you instead see somebody saying this entity is a demonic spirit because they don't like that entity, this energy is a demonic energy because they don't like Okay, this is the only way it has to be. This is the only way it has to be. So, divisiveness is clear for intelligent minds. Emotionally healthy, spirituality, day to day people do it all the time, knowing the difference. When we hear our spiritual bypassing brothers and sisters, it's because they're not yet healed. So their amygdala rules them. Their likes and dislikes rule them. Those are all masculines who are not empowered yet. So they're not a balance of their feminine energy or masculine energy. Okay, so circumstances in the night, they marry laughing and handsome and mirror an invasion of reflection of trust. When we go out, we meet each other and then we expand. All ascension energies expand those who are expanding. Candlelight illuminates damage beneath the feet with wave of lights. We've never walked in any of our brothers and sisters' footsteps. So when Shakti's counterpart is Shiva, we will know of Shakti's and Shiva's beautiful harmony. But that's with those who become their true self. So being yourself. You deal with unknowns, unexpecteds, unwanteds, while you are from within you, the inner growth mindset modules, and you go with the flow. Neuroscience explain it's humanly possible. When I wrote the titles to the main modules, I didn't realize all of the neuroscience, neurobiology, and quantum physics and everything that I now know. Now that I know how to tell you all, it's amazing, but the first step is you have a body connected. Whether you have cracks or not, the cracks are full of gold and you're stronger than dysfunctional patterns because you want it. And therefore, you don't have addictions in a way of falling for them. You have potentially bad habits that you are disciplined, and more than just disciplined. You easily choose to disengage from that which is bad for your health. You do not make up an excuse so that you may continue to be unhealthy, especially when you're wanting to lead the children that are out there. And we have children who will be subjected to their bodies, unfortunately, being full of trauma in a way that is completely aware. We're all aware of it. We don't suffer it because, one, for those of us who are in communion with God, Akash Source, again, we don't play it. We know it. It speaks to it. It speaks to us. It's not words necessarily. It's nudges. Then we have themes. So our lovely earth goes through themes. Themes are the same for everyone. Then there's those who expand and those who don't. And so the 5D collective has consistently been expanding. These are all people who know that science and spirituality come together, that there's no demons inside the bodies of people, and that neurobiology shows what your first step to you accessing your soul is. It is getting your body connected, getting your brain to work, and if you're having a challenge, Dr. Amy Pegan helps. So weak ones are not part of the collective of 5D. It is not to be mean to them. It is that they have chosen their unhealth, and it is not a monster, because if that monster had ever existed, I would be dead physically, because it would have been a monster. Instead, they created a monster way back when, since they didn't have data that explained to them things. Now that we do, people can stop making up stories about people and be a little bit of compassionate. And while some people think you're not compassionate, I'm spelling the truth in the best way possible with balance, because there's shitty movies, shitty entertainment, shitty songs, shitty everywhere, and then I get to see adolescents as they fall around the shitty, not so cool, mediocre human beings, and I get to see them in my face telling me how healthy they are, and I'm thinking of the daughter of this human being, and I'm like, wow, sure, you're setting the perfect example of for the person how to lead their life. I mean, wow, so it's not, you can't have any alcohol, no burgers. No, it's not that extreme, because see, whenever you see extremists, they don't know how to handle their nervous system. They have no capacity to own their embodied brain. Life is not meant to be a prison. And so if you're not able to work with your nervous system, this is why it's called unhealthy self-soothing mechanisms. Everyone knows their own self. You can be stronger than dysfunctional patterns if you put your mind to it. You can also be a person who can ask for help. You can recognize smart people know what smart is. And so smart people don't tell people that are trying to make sure people get healthy that we are being mean. The people who like to tell someone like me, you're mean, when I don't pick to hang out with unhealthy, self-soothing human beings, unhealthy self-worth human beings. There's very few times. The few times it's happened, I've looked at people in the face and said nothing. is that's the minute of truth. Or someone who says get in their face, I say nothing, because again, they're not God, number one. They also don't understand that I know I didn't walk ever one day in your shoe. I don't need to talk. I'm just going to reiterate my healthy boundaries without yelling in your face. So this human being would have to be saluted. I reiterated by the end of the evening, no, we won't become friends. No, we won't talk. They didn't like it. The next time I saw them, oh, she looked at me. At least they got it off their chest, is what Maria thinks, because that must have been really hard for 3+ years and ongoing for them to hold it all in. No, it was they were upset. They were getting rejected. And because they were upset, they decided to, quote unquote, pick on the one human being who chose to completely stay a stranger. And I chose to self-regulate, be a grown-up, be a person who could have a good time, and I have a funny story. So they actually gave me a gift. Like the other human being who randomly just said, I'm doing great. They gave me another story. I told another person about the story they gave me. It's like, I'm full of stories. You're just giving them all to me. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I get to tell people, look, mediocre people walking the streets. How awesome. Yay. They think that I'm actually a whack job, a weirdo. I'm a mystic, right? Channeling. I don't do too much drinking. They definitely like to say, oh, but you're drinking a little bit more. Yeah, but I won't ever get to that because I'm not. And I care to live. So here's the deal, okay? The ones who want to pat people on the back, we don't pat and we don't push. We just stay in our lane. And then we vote, and the laws take care of the rest. So I definitely know that the ones who are healing will be at IHP, the ones who are their self, and the ones who won't like any of us, it's because they don't like when we point out the truth with balance, because they want us to pick sides, and we don't pick sides because we already know everything's going to work out. We can work it out always. Humans evolve. I bring science and spirituality together. They awaken the best life ever for you, authentic selves, and then they also allow us to continue to move into the future. And so here we go, Shakti's counterpart and Shiva. And then I will read to you something that can represent that which they are, in other words. And it's really amazing to know infinite higher human consciousness potential, to know life, to know love, to know all of those who expand consciousness, and then to know that the future looks really bright because love always wins. Because that's exactly why it's also healthy fear. We're smart enough to know how to pick them, the pack. It's called not picky. It's called selective. Do you hang out with everyone? I mean, the mediocre ones are backstabbers, which is why when someone's like, they're weak, I'm like, where's weak? I think they tripped me on purpose. I'm pretty sure they tripped me on purpose. You know, I'm pretty sure they threw. So here's stories from Maria's teenage years of this human being who, they're so nice. Are they? Wow. I still remember when they threw a firecracker at me. It went in my pocket. My jacket took fire and I'm like, and I'm jumping all over the place. No, they're the same spiteful asshole. And sure, I'm pretty sure they have trauma from their home. Yep. They talked about their mother. Yes. And their father. And I'm like, okay, wow. But hey, they are your mother and father, so the respecting them is great. You could have went to therapy to get some help, but they didn't. So I don't tell people that. But for the people like, but they're so nice. Spiteful, mediocre behavior is not nice. That we can put up with children because that's what grown-ups do. That's a different story. So some people, they want to be the ones who yell at each other. That's martyrs, superiors, blamers, codependents. They just still have charges. We don't. Future humans and luminous warriors, we don't have charges. We have emotions. And then we remember we're all angels who also could have all fallen off with our heads and bumped them. And that's why we're a bunch of mystic, spiritual, mindful. We're like, hey, it's cool. Jesus likes us all. We can still eat meat. It just takes a lot longer to digest it. So you want to make sure you get it from a good butcher and that they treat the meat right. And so that's where I totally believe in continuing to do what we're doing to make it sustainable and to continue to return to that which is common decency and smarts. So we're getting there. Shakti's counterpart is Shiva, representing the masculine principle of pure consciousness to Shakti's feminine principle of energy and creation. AI overview. Together they embody the union of stillness and motion, the static and dynamic, as well as the divine masculine and feminine, a necessary interplay for the existence and creation of the universe. which you have right inside of you. Empowered feminine, empowered masculine. And like I like to share with you, Prakriti is our 3-year-old, and then Purusha is our integrated brain, because you're a sense of self that's owned, so you're always pure consciousness, and you're doing a great job at being yourself. And then you're doing a great job at unconditionally loving people with their flaws and imperfections and knowing it's okay. And no, we don't give the weak ones a pass, but we also don't yell in their faces either. The laws are there for us. So Shakti represents the dynamic active force of the universe, embodies feminine energy, power, and the material world. Prakriti is the creative energy that gives rise to all life and activity. Shiva represents the stable, unchanging, and pure consciousness, embodies the masculine energy and pure consciousness. Purusha is the observer, the stillness, and the unmanifest aspect of the divine. The union of Shiva and Shakti symbolizes the inseparability of the masculine and feminine energies that make up the divine, is often depicted in the form of Ardhanarishvara, a half male, half female deity signifying their oneness. Their union illustrates that without both forces, the static consciousness, Shiva, and the dynamic energy, Shakti, creation cannot occur. And so again, we have different ways that feminine and masculine energy take a role and play. And for what I was going to read to you, let me count the ways that I love thee in a discerning, equanimous, loving way, conscious, loving way, like God is, discerning, equanimous, loving. But the title was at the beginning of this stream of consciousness, let me count the ways that I love thee. The smiles you bring to my heart, the silence you fill with awe and splendor, the essence of life and love that you are, the magic that the mere expression of you holds, the embodiment of the infinite and unknown splendors of life that you bring to me each day. I love thee for that which our fusion creates. It is love and life in form, completely conscious of being, and awakened in every breath, thought, and action we take, both together and apart. Let me count the ways that I love thee, in knowing that together we bring to life that which is deemed impossible to be experienced by a mortal being. The experience of love and life in its utmost, unlimited and infinite expression and potential. And when you do know that life is the most amazing love affair that you can have, and you are yourself, you love to hang out with all people. So empowered feminines don't have an issue with their empowered masculines. Empowered feminines get into irritation with those who are masculines, but that is with our awareness that whatever's taking place will be revealed to us in due time. And so, like the future human that I come from being, as you all know, the downloads that I got, the ones for regulars, if you're new, you don't know it, but one of my first downloads, besides the it's my human makeup, was that I'm a future human, because I love that technology connects us. And then I also got a glimpse of another of my future human. So with cosmic karmic balancing, it's always at play. There's nothing that's ever taken away from you if you are using dharma, and therefore you're using positive karma, and you know what accruing negative karma is, and so you just know how to keep a balance. We're always doing karma, but there's a way that you always expand, so we give to each other. And you also know that you could accrue some negative karma, meaning that there can be things that take place, because we're all imperfect and flawed. So for me, I can do something that I won't consider rude to someone else, but they might consider rude, so that could potentially be negative karma that I carry into the next lifetime. And so you're not afraid of it, by the way. You'll be completely aware of it. And really, what I'm going to say is the planet is in dharma, not karma. We've zeroed out the karma stuff. And what is proof is our lovely science community, as they also are very well aware of what trauma charges are, and that they're stored in muscles, bones, and tissues. So they know how to explain it all. Neurobiology, neuroscience, it doesn't lie, and it's repeatable. And when you're an enlightened one, you know where the lies are at. You're never afraid of lies, because the truth is not fragile, and it always wins, while the lies are complete bullshit, and they're just smoke and mirrors, which is why we got a Gargamel in the corner over there with a little bit of smoke. So the children who choose to not become their true self, we can't make anyone choose their health. You can't make somebody get out of their dysfunctional patterns, the drinking, drugging, fucking, inner outer critic. You can't make someone choose to notice their self-righteous energy. You can't make a grandiose notice their insecurity, because they need to be the ones who notice that they're a buffoon. And that's some of them that won't. You can only hope that whatever their outcome, meaning their end is that it's one that is not too painful. However, I mean, I can't say that you don't, what's the word? No, I won't use that one. There's different soul age groups is how I'm going to bring it to you. But also, I just don't like to think of these words, because at the end of the day, we all are ignorant somewhere. I know I am. But I know that if you say that you love me, or if you say that you love someone, love means death departs, sickness and health, for better, for worse. Love would mean that you're smart enough to notice that you are going to grow older, and that you want to take care of yourself so that you can take care of each other. So love isn't self-centered if you are thinking of your entire herd. And so it's not about what you like or don't like. It's about what works and doesn't work. And then it's about truth. And that's why, stronger than dysfunctional patterns, everyone can be that. If they choose to notice what an addiction is, something that's bad for you that might feel good. And then if it's that hard for you to give it up, well, then you're going to have to. But if it's something that you can discipline yourself, so you can know how to manage it and you know how to enjoy all of it, then there you go. I like meat. I eat some of it. I like wine. I drink some of it. I smoke cigars. So I'm just saying, like, when I see the extremists, that's not necessary. And I also notice that a lot of people aren't doing the first thing, get your body connected. Then as for the rest, I mean, we all have different stories. I have IBS. I have panic attacks. And I know that I am self-aware, accountable, and regulate. I know how to actually treat my body. But I do think I don't breathe all the time, for example. So that's where we still work with ourselves. Just because we're non-traumatized doesn't mean we don't have stuff coming up. It's that we're aware and we have a window of welcome, just so you're understanding. Being yourself isn't about it being the best, but it's being conscientious. And then when you're channeling and downloading, you just don't lose yourself like all the other ones. So what the message was in the first one of these that I was trying to bring, or not me, that they brought, is true leadership doesn't divide. God's word is never meant to divide. The ones who are picking at words and dividing based on words, they're not leading anywhere. They're just deciding that their words are more special and better, and they want to keep using it like Shakespeare might have been wanting to use his words. So it's disappointing to those of us who know what true leadership is. True leadership creates clarity. True leadership brings wisdom. True leadership brings integrity. True leadership shows moderation. True leadership does not use stereotypes, does not use any of those which are gender or ignorant, any of it. True leadership knows discerning, equanimous, loving words on purpose. It's called equanimity for a reason. Calm, centered, brain in the forefront. I'm not telling you what I like or don't like. I'm trying to present to you information. Now, if you don't like it, you will tell me you don't like it. And if you continue not liking it, then you're going to start telling me I'm a hypocrite and whatever. So discerning, equanimous, loving tones are not enjoyed by children who are adaptive child part. They don't like what they don't want to hear. They will like what they want to hear, and then they will be feisty. And if they want to stay in their shame, blame, fault, little revenge cycles, they continue to bring forth that which is hypocrisy, like my facade friend. So attachment wounded individuals are weak because they're buffoons. And that is why when people want to tell me, don't be mean to the weak ones, I'm not mean to anyone. I just know who's a buffoon and who's not, and then I know how I want to spend my 24 hours, since I am interested in leaving behind that which is an example for the children, not that which is mediocre buffoonery behavior based on bullshit that I get to watch on movies and with people out in the streets. And I have to make fun of it with the Smurfs and the Care Bears and little monsters over here and over there with Gargamel, just because, you know, I mean, I got to entertain you somehow. No. Because there's people who are still out there doing bullshit stuff. So we don't have to do anything. It's because we know what's going on. It's just not with monsters in the skies. Grounded in reality people. So, future humans, we know all about science and spirituality coming together, because science doesn't disprove spirituality. True leaders of God don't actually put people against each other. The ones who are using ancient books, they're for the ones who don't understand science or spirituality, and they're so ignorant and they're so lost. And then they have people who don't teach them. They have people who preach dogma to them, who tell them what they like and don't like. So it is very clear to us. But we'll be back again with more. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.